Hey besties, I just got back from work and I thought to come on here to talk about how I feel about the current situation ongoing in the UK. Today has just been a very difficult day for me personally and also a lot of my colleagues that are people of color. And in fact, this atmosphere, this period has been very heavy. Yesterday I got a lot of messages. In fact, this week I've been getting a lot of messages from home where people are asking me like, how are you, what's going on? And it's been very difficult. Yesterday there was a planned protest in my city which made it even way more difficult to carry on as usual. And I had to realize that, see, this is no longer business as usual. Things have changed. Thankfully, nothing big happened yesterday, mainly because the police were involved already. Also, a lot of the stores owned by non-whites were actually remade with like another material. So let me explain. You know, these are normal stores that are heavily protected with material that people cannot just easily break into. Yesterday there was high alert because people already knew what was going to happen. If you check the news, or even forget the news, if you check social media, TikTok, Instagram, especially TikTok, you will see the number of assault, the number of abuse being perpetrated in the name of protest. First of all, when describing what's currently ongoing, do not use the word protest because it's not a protest, it's literally a riot. But let's leave that aside. Today's video is not me trying to educate you on what's currently ongoing because you have the news to do that. In fact, I'm not trying to give any think pieces of the origin of this whole thing, what happened. I'm not even trying to do that because you have a lot of information in the internet at your fingertips if you want to immerse yourself in that kind of information. That's not really my vibe right now because the way I feel, it's not helpful for me to be listening to a lot of news or watching a lot of things currently ongoing. It is extremely triggering for me. But this is my own way of just saying my opinion on what is currently ongoing because firstly, I'm very grateful for the fact that I work in an organization that actually have sense, because there are some organizations that don't really have sense. They have no empathy. They don't realize that the current climate can be extremely difficult for a lot of people of color and they're just acting like business as usual. Thankfully, my company is not like that. Yesterday and even today, I've not been the one coming home. Like my white colleagues have been the one taking me to work and bringing me back, which has been very helpful. It's also been good to note that in my company they've issued like a circular stating their anti-racism policy, which is very refreshing. Then I also feel quite validated knowing that my colleagues, including my white British colleagues, actually care, because there is nothing as bad as feeling alone in the midst of all of these things. Now, if you're watching me and in the organization you work for there is no level of support like that, obviously you just have to be your own support. I saw a TikTok video that resonated very well with me. This lady was saying, in this riot we need to realize that things have changed. As non-white people, all this fighting against ourselves is not helpful. All these black versus brown, Nigerian versus Ghanaian, West African versus this African, African versus Asian, those arguments are not necessary, because this situation should expose you to the fact that if you are not white, you are not white. I've always found it very interesting that when a British-born black person commits a crime, when there is media about that person, you will not hear that they are British. There was something that trended last year. This lady unalived someone and she is black British. Surprisingly, when I saw the media about her, they wrote Nigerian. And I'm like, she was addressed as a Nigerian, and this is someone that is black British. Now, her parents obviously were immigrants, but this girl was born, bred, and buttered in the UK. In fact, when she was speaking, there was no Nigerian accent, it was literally British accent. But because of she committed a crime, they addressed her as Nigerian. That's to tell you the level these people don't even rate us. Once you commit a crime, they will remind you where you're coming from. Obviously, not every white person is racist, but this situation would expose you to the fact that There are actually a lot more than you've imagined. And the thing is, this situation has emboldened a lot of people that were actually extremely but they've been doing it in the closet because obviously it's a crime. Now they are emboldened to show their true colors. Even when they meet someone that is a British person by citizenship, because your skin color is not white, you do not belong. And this is something I find very interesting. It's so interesting that if I decide to get married to a white man and I give birth, my child can never be called white. A child will be called mixed race or black. Like, you are never white enough if you're not white. It's just so interesting. This is 2024 and we are supposed to believe that there is nothing like racism in 2024. But lo and behold, even before the situation, the R word has always been in existence. Obviously, there are people that are delusional. In their own little cocoons, they want to deceive themselves that there is nothing like the R word. And surprisingly, a lot of these delusional people are even people of color. I've seen a black girl tell me to my face that, oh, in the UK there is no racism. And surprisingly, this same person experienced racism and was now trying to use the R word. And I told her, no. I thought you said there is no now. You can't be approbating and reprobating. You said there is nothing like the R word here, right? Okay, now, so what's the problem? Why are you complaining? And that person is still in the same WhatsApp group of people that will say, why are you complaining about racism when there is tribalism in your country too? Oh God. In fact, the logic of it all, let's not even go there. Because when I want to talk to someone, I like to talk to people that are on a good wavelength intellectually. Like, how can you be like, oh Jesus. People don't understand the depth of colonialism. It is because of colonialism that's the reason why you esteem a white person above yourself. And that's the reason why someone can open mouth and say, oh, there is no R word. That's also the reason why when you have your Nigerian accent, for instance, you think it's not good enough, but you have to imitate a Brit. This is what I always talk about. Then there's another group of people that will say this whole situation is not racially motivated. No words. Something I also find interesting is when you see someone that has like 4 front teeth missing, saying things like, they are taking our job. Immigrants are taking our job. You that cannot separate between was and where? We was in the place. You that don't even know your tenses correctly. What jobs are immigrants taking away from you? Check our hospitals. Check them. The nurses, the doctors, all of them, like majority, are actually people of color. What jobs? Check classes. When I was in Nigeria, I did not realize how much Nigerians take education compared to a lot of UK people. You will see someone educated up to PhD, even more than, even in classes. You will see that a lot of you in that class are people of color. A lot. That speaks volumes. And you wonder, what jobs are we taking? What jobs? Then someone will say, go back to your country. Oh yeah, come and carry me now. Come and carry me. After the millions I spent in Naira to come here, come and carry me. Then there is another group of people that have no understanding about asylum seekers, refugees. So all they need to do, or all they know how to do, is to go to immigration offices to go and do nonsense. They forget that these asylum seekers, these refugees, a lot of them are in the UK mainly because their country is in distress. And if you trace it back, it still boils down to colonialism that did a number on people. A person with no front teeth missing or with all the front teeth missing saying, you're taking out my job. This is the same person with no understanding of colonialism. Because when colonialism happened, the number of thefts that happened, a lot of us that are here, if you go and ask an average person of color or an average immigrant, they don't want to be here. It is a situation that led to it. And if it's trace back that situation, it will still boil down to colonialism. As I said, I just want to rant. But something else I want to leave with you if you're a person of color, because you should be a person of color watching this. If not, what are you doing? And that is, in this atmosphere, this period, guard your hearts. Because I can tell you, keep safe, don't go anywhere, don't do this. But there is just so much I can say regarding that. Because can I actually tell you not to go anywhere at all? Are you a prisoner? You're not. But obviously, wisdom is profitable to direct. So before you go anywhere, at least ensure that that place is quite safe. If you know that a protest is ongoing in a particular place, it will be wise of you to just avoid that place if possible and do your thing. So to the best of your ability, this period, it may be wise to just limit your movement to important places, like places that you actually have to be. Now, when I say guard your heart, I really mean it, guard your heart. Now, for someone like me, I just know that I'm staying away from hearing all this news. I'm purposely staying away. In fact, I don't want anyone to come and be educating me on the history on this, because it can be too much for me. Now, I know myself, I know my triggers, I know my limitations. I know that watching someone being abused can be a lot for me because I'm extremely empathetic, and that can impact me. Like, little thing can actually do a number on me, even though I always have my facade, like it does not affect me, but it actually does. I know to take a step back from all of these things. For me, I've assured my loved ones I'm fine, I'm good, because obviously there are people back at home reaching out. I saw some messages yesterday, some missed calls. I was like, that's so I love me. Stop it. Because some people are worried, like your loved ones should most likely be worried. So as much as you can assure them, that can be helpful. But please guard your heart, ground yourself, surround yourself with people that fill your cup. This is not a period where you should just be with people that are anyhow, people that are negative. Obviously, we are all different. Some people profit from having lots of information. If you're that kind of person, then obviously get the information that you need to get. If you're not, then just avoid that information. Now, if you're a Christian like me, be prayerful, read things that uplift you, listen to things that uplift you. If you are going to work and your work is like physical, if you can ask for remote working, if that's an option, that will be very beautiful. If not, try not to work alone, because a lot of these people that are doing these things are cowards. They target you when you are isolated. If possible, reduce that, work in pairs, and just do the best you can do. At the end of the day, we can only but do the best we can do and pray for the best outcome. It's my prayer and hope that this will be the last video and only video I ever make about this thing, because I just need a break from it all. Like, I just need to go back to living normally, because this is not really helpful. Somehow, even though thankfully I'm safe, there is always that feeling of looking behind me. I hope this person is not trying to get me. I hope, which is definitely not the right way to live, because that's such an anxious and panicked way to live. That's it, besties. Now, if you're watching me currently and you are not my bestie and you are trying to type one thing to do, please carry down your finger. Just carry it out of my comment section, because I need a safe space. Because if you comment, I'll just mute you out. I don't have time, because my blood is hot, my head is hot. If you are dropping a comment and it is not positive, think it again. Just rethink that thing I want to drop. Will it sit well? Because I will block you and your generation. My next video is going to be a vlog, things that I've filmed earlier. So just do well to look out for them. And I'm going to see you, besties, in my next one. I almost forgot to say, stay blessed, remain happy, and